Oh, hold up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting this off straight away because I am a little bit for the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream where it's members only that can be in the chat room. Tonight, housing market crash predictions. Are you in on these predictions, ladies and gentlemen? They're everywhere. And you know what? What's the solutions? You guys already know what they are. But you know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to actually do the intro. But before I do the intro, the first thing is I have to do a little promotional love. We have our own Professor Auntie Val and family who has started Beachfront Java. The reason why I mentioned Beachfront Java is because a lot of people have coffee in their diet. You also add tea. She has both now. And she has a promo code just for you in the SSN Nation. Your promo code, write this down, all capitals, SSN Lifestyle, all one word. The reason why you want that promo code is because after your first order, every order thereafter for life is 10% off. So what am I talking about with quality? Whole beans, premium blend beans from those locations, Central America, South America, Africa, Indonesia, and beyond. But they're premium blends. And there's 15, 16 different types, holiday types, and tea as well. You got to go to beachfrontjava.com to go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you know, I always search. I always look high and low for some of the best projects in the world. Well, we have a new challenger. And of all places that people have wanted to talk about, it's Dubai, ladies and gentlemen. And oh my, I have to give them some credit. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. But I am going to play a little video for you. And this video will be chopped a little bit. Some things will be added. But I want to give you a little preview because you got to see this. And the price. Yes, talk about solutions, pricing, pre-construction wise. And I will get into it shortly, but let me play this video. It's not really a video. It's just something that goes on social media right now, but I will have it in the regular format. So I will be playing it on the Friday night live stream, or wait, I won't be doing the Friday night live stream, but let me show you guys this right here. Check this out. And then I'll play the intro afterwards. Let me know what you think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being here in the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And of course, I have on the Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And again, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, because that housing market crash situation that people are talking about, you know what? Eric says we were supposed to have a crash by now. Not quite crash. What I mean is September, October, November we're in now, but that's when prices were supposed to start going down. We were supposed to be near 40, 50, 60%. That would have been very nice, but it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't materialized. But yet everybody is saying housing crash, red alert. I think it's been red alert, but people have that, that stimulus money. They still had PPP loan money. They still had a lot of money coming in the door. And therefore, people were out here spending. And then these corporations, they decided to raise everything price-wise, double, triple, whatever the market will bear. That's a capitalist system, so you can't really be mad. But once people don't have any more money and don't have any more credit, now what are they going to do? Tap into their HELOCs? And now when your HELOC gets locked up as well, then you're out of money. And we already know 60% of the population was well on their way to destruction, living paycheck to paycheck. We already know this. So let me see who's in the house tonight thus far on this members only that can be in the chat room tonight. Here's a member now with the icon next to his name. That is Georges Charles, and welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Night live stream, SSN Nation style. And again, he brings a tagline. Hi, all. I smell money in here. He's exactly right. He smells money. He gets directions. He understands information and knowledge. And he mentions Dubai. He talked about this just 2 to 3 weeks ago, but there wasn't a worthy project in Dubai. But now, $170,000 and up. Yes, the studio costs $170. If you want a 1-bedroom, well, now they bump it up to $270, and that is USD. But once again, it's halfway around the world. What do I mean by that? Anytime you got to jump on a plane and it's going to take you 12 to 15 hours to get there, that's halfway around the world as far as I'm concerned. That is a long way. So the only reason I'm thinking about anything in Dubai would have to be small, something I normally wouldn't get, hotel room type of scenario where it's going to cost inexpensive and you're going to have rentals. That's about the only way, because price-wise, once you get into 2 bedrooms or villas, let's just call it what it is. You're going to have to be spending 400, 500, 600,000 to $1 million. So once again, is it going to be cost effective? Well, at that place, it will be. That's one of the solutions. And now there is a worthy project that has crystal lagoons all throughout, kind of like Oceana in Punta Cana, where it's all throughout the water. Your units are above water. That's what they have there, except they have so much more. Second Opera House is going to be in this complex. Malls, restaurants, nightclubs, and 1 kilometer of air-conditioned indoor shopping, all this activity going on, which is pretty sweet. But what I love is, can you believe they have a gondola in this joint? Did you guys catch that? A gondola that comes down, which reminds me, Larimar, I mentioned this before. You're on the cliff. You should have parking and all that for people to come up to the beach club. Down below, a gondola. I'm just saying, perfect. And I mentioned that before. And here's the first project that has a gondola, apparently, that's coming down to the water. How sweet is that? Okay, Victor Marrero is in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night live stream with the icon next to his name, and soon to be retiree, just getting his foot in the ground in the DR, handling out his business at Connor Rock. Soon, hopefully, a year and a half, these guys will be in play, and Connor Pearl, Connor Bay, Connor Rock will hopefully be rocking out. Now, he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, all. Let's do this. And yes, this is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We try to help you. And by the way, Jerome Powell and friends. I dropped a video about Jerome Powell and friends earlier. I get excited about Jerome Powell doing exactly what they're doing. Why do I get excited? Because you know who feels the pain and who always feels the pain are those 60% of Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck, that they feel the pain. But what I love is when the top 10 percenters or top 1 percenters feel the pain. Why do I love that? Because that is a mistake. They are not supposed to feel the pain. They aren't supposed to get margin calls. They're not supposed to have to pay their adjustable rate loans that they have interest only wise. They move up 2, 3, 4 percentage points and they owe 400 million, 20 million, $10 million. And they're like, hey, man, hold up. What do you mean I got to pay 5% on this $10 million? We were supposed to only cap this thing at like 2%. What's this 5, 6, 7% stuff you're talking about now? This is painful. We only have cap rates of 4 or 5%. We're actually losing money. In case you don't know, I use the term cap rate. I usually don't like using that. What I'm talking about, cap rate equals profit as far as I'm concerned. That's what I call it. So if you're making 5, 6%, hello, California, you know your low cap rates. When you're making that and all of a sudden now your loan is 4 or 5% annually, you have fees, ladies and gentlemen. Your profit margin just shrank. So therefore, that's why I love it, because that means they're locked. The consumer's locked. Something has to give. People can't just go out here and borrow money cheaply anymore. So that locks both ends of the spectrum. So who are the smart ones? You who are here, because you're going to be saying, give me some of that dividend money. You know, like the kids do. Let's eat up. Come on. Give me some of that dividend money right now. Stocks are going to go down. Dividend stocks are going to go down. Right? So you can buy them at a lower price, which means a higher yield. Let's eat it up, ladies and gentlemen, because they can only do this for a few more months. He can stay level all he wants to, but you know what that means? That means no inflation rate at 2%. That means the price of goods and services are going to stay this price. That means somebody's going to have to pay the piper. And those of us who get assets that pay us, those of us who sit there and get our dividend funds or our ETF funds, keep in mind, you guys know the Vanguard Group is our favorite around here too. VOO on tap. Check it out. VGT on tap, technology fund for them. Check it out. All of these have dipped. So what do you think is going to happen when the next boom comes? You got to put yourself in place, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we talk about here. Wealthy Wednesday night live streams. And we got members with the icon that has already been making waves, buying those Yield Max ETFs at these ridiculous prices, giving these crazy returns. But will they keep up giving those outrageous dividends, 30, 35, 40%? Well, something tells me it might happen. E. White, just a man that I've been looking for a week. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon next to his name. And again, ladies and gentlemen, please smash that like button. And just like E. White, Victor Morrell, George is Charles, they're here tonight. And you may not have an icon next to your name. The only way you can get an icon is be a member of the channel. That's the only people that can be in the chat room. And he brings his tagline. Good evening, SSN family, pen and pad ready. And don't forget to hit that like button. I love it, E. White. And E. White, by the way, I look forward to seeing you very soon in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. But E. White, I sent an email. I didn't hear from you. And also, I needed your shirt size. It's kind of too late now, but I hope I got the right. I added a couple extras. So maybe I got your right polo shirt size, dry fit edition. I need to know. All right. So since you're here, now you can tell me what size polo shirt you wear. And dry fits sometimes run small or not, but either way, hopefully I got your right size. I just estimated because of the picture you took one time with one of the realtors. So I said, well, maybe L, XL, somewhere in that vicinity. I figured, I guessed, I estimated. So XL, I estimated properly. That's very, very good to hear. All right, man. So we're good. I just thankfully you sent that picture way back when. And I was like, I think he's going to be an L or an XL. XL worse. I know it's not 2X. I know it's not 3X. I know it's not going to be medium. I said it's got to be one or the other. And dry fits sometimes run extra large. So it could be an L and dry fit polos. But we will see. Either way, you're covered. So thank you for that. And right on time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you guys know I get a little bit excited when I feel the Federal Reserve is doing us a favor by squeezing the top, because that means the top has to squeeze us. As you guys know, we're a consumer nation. So it's what you call a self-fulfilling prophecy. What happens if you're in business and your profit margins start shrinking? What's your options? Option one, raise the price. Option two, now you're squeezing the wholesaler, distributor saying, hey, man, I can barely make any money here. Or option three, you know, those loans that you might have gotten, you might have to renegotiate those. But it's painful no matter which way you go. If you raise your prices, you're going to have less customers potentially. And because customers are getting squeezed, they may not show up. So who's going to show up? Well, like I always said, the top 10% always have money for vacations and everything else. But there's only a limited supply of those top 10%ers around the world. So therefore, you have to be in the business of attracting the top 10%ers, in my opinion. All right. Let me know what you guys are thinking. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to check this out. I dropped a video about Powell is our friend. I'm going to start off with that because let me see if I can find it. No, that's not the one. I can't find it. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen, because I want this specific article about it. And I guess I don't have it, but that's okay. We'll come back to it in a little bit because it's very, very funny. And I'm going to do this Reuters one right here because, again, nobody really cares. The guys that have equities and stocks, do they care what these rates are? Bank policy remains 5.25 to 5.5, which means mortgage-wise 7.5, 8%, 8.5. Hey, you got to love it. What does that mean with credit cards? 25, 29, 35 annually that you don't care about because you're paying the minimum and you're paying the 30% annually and don't care. All right. So here's the problem that we're having, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the self-fulfilling prophecy, even though I have this on the screen, when it showed U.S. domestic gross product grew at 4.9% annual rate in the third quarter. That's outrageous. You may think 4.9% GDP is minor or great. It is great if we didn't have an inflation problem, and that would be great. But here's the problem with this. This is just what I was talking about before with the businesses. Because a lot of people will take this information, and you might as well, and you would say, hey, 5% almost GDP growth is awesome, except how do you think they achieve that? It's the same way that we were just talking about. When you don't have enough customers that's paying the lower price, then what do some of the companies do? They increase the price. Yes, they'll have less customers, but that little 30, 40, 50% increase means if I increase my price 50%, that means I can take on 50% less customers. So as long as I still have that less customers still paying the higher price, guess what starts happening? My gross profit goes up, even if it is 7%. I'll take it. It's better than taking L's, right? So this is what's happening. Remember, prices have increased. That is inflation. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy is what I call it. Let me know what you guys are thinking here, because that is exactly the way it actually works. So everything is working exactly as planned. No interest rate hike, but no decrease, and inflation is not anywhere near 2%. So therefore, they have to hold. Why? Because then if they increase the interest rate, guess what happens? That squeezes their buddies. And what do their buddies do? Well, you know what their buddies do. They make phone calls. They send out letters. Now I found out where my page is that I wanted to. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on a second. Because I want this other. I showed parts of this in the video I dropped earlier. But let me see. Here it is. This is the one I wanted. This is the one I want. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is so disgusting. So you're sitting here sweating. A lot of you are. 60% of the population, by the way. 73% of millennials live paycheck to paycheck, by the way. So look at this right here. This right here irritates me to no end. Let me show you. This is what I showed earlier today in the video about our friends. Look at this. As you may have heard, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the National Association of Realtors, the National Association of Home Builders wrote a letter to our good friend, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, earlier this month, meaning in October. They pointed out that mortgage interest rates have now reached a 23-year high. Oh my. Dragging application activity down to a low last seen in 1996. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. See, application activity, they don't get their derivative money happening. If you have no applications, you have nobody buying, you have nobody getting that other piece of paper that you just traded in for, where you committed to a, what's the average? $426,000 house. They can't sell 10, 20, 50, 100 of them and then turn those into derivatives to borrow. It's not feasible at this time because people are going to be like, well, I don't think we're going to, because what we have to pay for that, we are used to borrowing at interest only for 2% or 1.5. There's no way in hell we're going to pay 6% interest only on millions of dollars. And you haven't even built the place yet? I don't think so. Not going to happen. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I love what's happening right now. Why? Because us, the ordinary citizens, the OCs, we're going to be able to take advantage. And some of us already are. Now, here's another thing about this. Not only were they the ones sending messages and everything, these stock market companies are also calling up Powell. They're not the only ones. Who do you think Powell works for? Do these guys sound like they work for you? Do these guys work for you? The NBA, the NAR, NAHB? Do they work for you guys? Are they looking out for your interest? Hell no. These are the same guys trying to extract you to make you pay more money for homes by saying after you sign an agreement, oh, don't let me start riding on the horse. You know, when you start signing that mortgage or that agreement, that contract where you say, hey, I'm going to buy your house for $450,000, that's your asking price. And then they call you up and tell you, hey, man, somebody else offered a little bit more money. So maybe you need to up your price. You don't know if they actually made an offer higher than yours. You just taking your realtor's word for it. Mortgage lenders, whoever you're listening to, you're listening to them say, and here's what I do, just so you guys know. Whenever I buy something, then I pay and I agree to pay the asking price, and they come back to me and say, oh, Eric, somebody else is offering more. I said, that means they're paying more. It's not worth more. It's appraised at this number. Why? I'm not going to bid against myself. They can have it. Realtors get mad at me because I don't make a counter offer after they come back and tell me this crazy nonsense. I'm like, you do realize this is a subdivision, semi-custom. You do realize there's another 10, 20 homes in here that's the exact same model, and there's might be another 2 or 3 for sale. Why am I going to pay an extra 50 G's, 25 G's, 100 G's? I'll just wait. Sorry. So all I'm saying is these are the guys trying to get you to pay more on their end of the spectrum. Meanwhile, they're calling up Powell and those guys going, oh, man, stop it. Reduce the interest rate. Please, please don't hurt us out here. I'm laughing. I'm saying thank you very much. And I'm saying congratulations to everybody buying pre-construction projects right now, because in about 2 years, a year and a half, interest rates will come down and you will have a price increase unlike any other in history. And why are we going to have price increases? Because the solution is, instead of 30-year loans, they're going to have 40-year loans as a norm. Because if you have 40-year loans, then instead of a $600,000, $700,000 cap, everybody can buy $1 million house. All right, that's my rant right now, ladies and gentlemen, because I love it when Powell and company do this kind of thing. It only happens every 10 year-ish. It's been 14, but the next crash, it should have happened. They've avoided. I got to give them credit. But I'm waiting for, it's going to be a nice needle through the haystack, because whenever they reduce the interest rate, that causes by default a rise in borrowing, which in turn is going to cause inflation, which in turn means products and services and prices go up. So you're going to have the money, middle class wipeout could be complete. It took them 40 years though, but it could be complete. 45 years, ever since Reagan started that trickle down stuff, that is when it happened. So people were like, oh yeah, let me get some of that trickle down money. And I was like, what the hell does trickle down mean? I was like, I don't know any of my friends who sit there and think about people who make like $10,000 annually. What's he talking about? I hardly have any friends that say, oh yeah, man, this dude's only making like $30,000 a year. Let me go to his employer and add a couple G's every 2 months or 6 months to his pay. I'm like, what is this trickle down crap? There is no trickle down crap. All my friends are like, come man, we're going down to Lamborghini. I mean, what are you talking about? This is not how it works. There is no such thing as trickle down. They're out here buying toys and assets. They don't give a damn about anybody that doesn't make any money. The only thing they care about is, hey, I need to call you about my tax cut and tax break, though. Who's going to pay for it? Oh, those guys that hardly make any money, they're just going to pay your share. Come on, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let me go on. Hey, I'm already banned. I'm already shadow banned. So why not go off? I'm already shadow banned. This is funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. So housing market predictions. I'm going to stay on this for a second. Let me get this back on because I want to talk about this real quick. This also was an article from Wells Fargo, right? So look at this. See, this here was from a day ago. Housing market crash. Wells Fargo warns of 1980s recession. Remember that trickle down stuff? Remember that savings and loan crisis in like 88, 89, where they had a lot of savings and loans go out of business and they had to revamp the law, but that didn't change anything because 15 to 20 years later, another crisis occurred based on the housing as well. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, these derivatives is cash cow for the rich. This is why I've always tried to get you guys with derivatives. Why? The derivatives are simple. Stocks, real estate, simple. You can borrow against both on a perceived value. And thanks to the feds, both go up. So you should be in both of those straight out the box, which every kid 5 years old and up, they should have been telling kids in school, go buy yourself some stocks right now. If you can buy yourself some real estate, go buy it right now. By the time you're 18 years old, that stuff will have doubled or tripled because that's traditionally what happens if you buy in the right locations. So again, setting yourself up is simple, but making it happen, execution sometimes can be hard. So what I wanted to talk about, 1980s, is this right here. Wells Fargo warns. But the other thing I wanted to show you was this right here, housing crash. So when you put this into Google, look at this. So look, 1 day ago, housing crash. 4 hours ago, the cities where property values are rising and failing. 3 weeks ago, housing market looks like a bubble, 2008 regulator says. And in Fortune, the housing market is about to have its slowest year since the real estate bubble. This was 2 weeks ago. This is what's coming out. Everybody's saying Eric says was off just by a little bit. But Eric says 40, 50, 60% should happen. Well, They're claiming it, but I am skeptical because the Federal Reserve is holding rates. They should have increased rates. We are not anywhere near 2% inflation or 3% inflation. So the fact that they're holding it is basically hurting both sides, but it's really hurting the big dogs. But he doesn't want to go to 6% because then that starts implosion of companies, because a lot of companies don't have a cap rate at 6%. A lot might be at 6 or at 5, but when you start going over what their profits are by millions, that's a problem. All right. They don't want to go that route. That's why they're holding it, going, oh, please, 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 man, make this thing, man, please go down. Unfortunately, it won't. They printed up way too much money in the last 6 years. 25% was printed up between 2017 and 2021, and about another 10% so far between 2022, 2021, and 2023. So once you understand that, they've already put it in the coffers for us, ladies and gentlemen, printing up money, rising prices, people's wages stay almost the same. Who cares about a 5 or 10 or 15% increase in wages? It needs to be 50% increase in wages, which triggers another problem. The other problem is now if you give higher wages, you have to charge more for the product, which in turn creates what they term inflation nowadays. Just what happens with the UAW. The car companies have already said because of their pay raise, the cars are going to cost to build 10 to 15% more. What's your solution? Don't be in the car business. That's your solution. Don't pay for a freaking car at $100,000. That would be a good solution. Don't buy a car for $100,000 and sign an 8-year lease or 8-year note. Don't do it. Or 9 or 10 that they're going to be coming out with here shortly. Well, they already have the 10 because of the Lambos and all that. But what I'm trying to say is for Ford, I mean, come on, ladies, Toyotas and things like that. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about $300,000, $250,000 cars. I'm talking about these cars now that used to be $30,000 that they're charging for $60,000 and $70,000. So the housing market crash works just like the vehicles. These are all liabilities in reality. Unless you have some other assets that are paying for where you live, then it's a liability. So look at all of these housing market crash. Look at this 5 hours ago, Daily Mail. This is crazy. It's like Business Insider, October 11th. I just had to show you this because it seems like there's a theme. They're all pounding the chest, but yet they're still sending letters to Jerome Powell. At least the realtors and the builders, they're all sending letters. And you don't think for 1 minute that these Fortune 500 REITs that are giving off all these high dividends, like the ORCs and all these guys, that they're not calling up? They are too. They're like, people are loving this 20% dividends, but we can't keep this up. We have loans. We need you to reduce this because we got to give up like 90% of our profit. That's not leaving us much profit. We have to give up that 90% to our dividend investors. So this isn't good. Not good at all. So again, they're getting inundated. And it's only November. Remember when I was saying I thought they would reduce the interest rate in December? We're going to see. This is going to be very interesting. George's Charles, right now, not a good time to buy in Florida. Hell, it's not a good time to buy anywhere. Housing market stinks for buyers, but good for sellers. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful for sellers. You already have a price increase of damn near 40%. So if you shave off 10% after it went up 40%, they'll take that too. And here's the funny part. Trying to thread the needle is on the other side of this is, do you sell your house now thinking that there will be a crash, or do you hold on to it? Most people, well, there's people that will do both ways. But the problem is there's no safe haven for rental because rental prices have escalated so much as well. Now, Florida's a whole nother ball game because Florida is it's a problem. What I mean by a problem, if you have insurance, you can't get your home insured. or you have to pay $10,000, $8,000 to insure your home. And they want to add on other stipulations to get insurance. If your house is over 12 or 15 years old, they might tell you, sorry. If it's under those ages, you're fine. If it's over, you got to put on a new roof. Now, $80,000, $100,000 for a new roof, most people aren't going to be able to afford that. Your insurance isn't going to cover it. So now what? You can't get insured. Now, if you go down to the one insurance company that might take you, they tell you something crazy. Give us $10,000 a year. You're like, wait, it used to be like $1,500, $2,000. What are you talking about? Oh, well, it's a whole new ball game. There's no insurance companies around here, so we can charge whatever we want in reality. So yeah, we want 10,000. Okay. And then they say, but you're going to need flood insurance. But wait, we've never had a flood, never had any water and problems whatsoever. In fact, I have a penthouse unit on the 15th floor. What are you talking about flood insurance? Sorry, mandatory. See, this is what's going down. Florida is not what it appears to be, but damn, I love Brickell. The way it looks. Oh my God, what they've done with Miami and the Brickell area. It's astonishing. And they got people down there buying and moving in like hotcakes. Woo! My goodness. Laverne Penix, Mr. Cool, ladies and gentlemen, has entered the building. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream with the icon next to his name. And he's saying his tagline this evening. Hello, SSN Nation. I hope everyone is doing well. I received a notification in the trailer. That's 3 people tonight. Thank you so much, Laverne Penix. I appreciate that. Everybody, please smash that like button so the YouTube gods say, oh, he's doing another live stream. That's what we want to hear, ladies and gentlemen. Let the YouTube gods keep doing their banning nonsense. But nonetheless, we still are trying to get people into the right place, right location, because this next boom, you're going to be thanking yourself later because you're going to be like, damn, the Federal Reserve did work for us by default, but they still worked for us because you know they're going to mess up. This is what they do. They're greedy. They help the wealthy. They help people with money and assets. You need to have money and assets. It's pretty simple. So get your assets now. Speaking of that, we got to talk, ladies and gentlemen, those assets. They're not liabilities. Liabilities are from you getting a paycheck, you paying out. So if you want to get income that you don't have to work for, that is on the right track. All right. So that's what I want to emphasize here, because the Federal Reserve is acting according to what I predicted they would do. But we'll see about my other prediction about they're going to lower the rate in December. Surprise. You know, we're going to find out. But if they do that, that puts us in a situation where, well, 1980s recession situation is going to, I don't want to call it recession. In my opinion, what's going to happen is prices are going to go up. That's what's going to happen. And people aren't going to be able to afford it, nor will their wages increase. So that means instead of 60% living paycheck to paycheck, it'll rise to 70%. And when you start having that, it's the Roman Empire. You can't pay the taxes for your government. You can't pay the taxes for the city. You can't pay the taxes to do anything. Your infrastructure starts crumbling. But let me put it to you another way. The good news is this cup of beachfront Java, for instance, this pottery. The good news is this pottery, you might as well have just done this. And this is what you're doing in America. See this piece of paper? In America and around the world, you get to change that piece of paper into a tangible item. Which one is more valuable? The piece of paper or the pottery that I'm using to drink out of? Now, when you think about it, the piece of paper is actually worthless, but it's denoted a number on there, and you're thinking that piece of paper is more valuable. That took a long time for training. And when you start realizing that piece of paper is actually worthless, and isn't it funny that America and the rest of the world has gotten people on board with a piece of paper is worth something? As long as you believe it, it's worth it. And what is the piece of paper? It's nothing. You can create out of thin air. So you always have a printing machine in the back. So therefore, who cares if things are really out of whack? Ultimately. But there will be a collapse. It's just a matter of when that currency will collapse, because it's really worth nothing. So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you are going, man, Eric, what are we talking about tonight? Well, housing market crash predictions are everywhere. And if you have a home that you overpaid for in the last 3 or 4 years, now notice I said overpaid. How did you overpay? How you overpaid is if you bought a home in like 2021 and 2022 when the prices went up 20% each time, and then you outbid people, that would be overpay. But if you're one of the lucky ones who actually bought like 2020, part of 2021 before that occurred, then you purchase at a lower price. So you'll be able to stem the tide as the price starts coming back down. So you can withstand a 20%, 30% decrease because you're just going to go, well, I'll just pay my mortgage. I have a 2.95% interest rate, 3.5% interest rate. So we're good. Anyhow, I'm not moving anyhow. But other people who have the 5%, 6%, 7%, 8% notes, and their home value goes down, they're going to walk away. There's no way. You can't pay 8%, 7%, 6%, and your house went down 20 to 30%. That's not going to work. We're talking about you bought something at 500,000 and it goes down to 375 and you're paying $3,500 a month for a house worth 350. Now all of a sudden you're going to be like, damn, I wish I could sell this thing because the interest rate's coming down. I could buy this exact same house for 350, but you can't. So ruin your credit is one option. I mean, that's about it. Or you can do a short sale and try and get out that way. But whatever the case may be, there would be a lot of harm going on. And for all those who are sitting here buying the assets, it's going to take them about 1.5 years to unwind this all. But you're going to be sitting pretty. Just keep that in mind. And speaking of pretty, once again, Laverne Penix, E. White, I have something to show you guys. Speaking of housing, market crash everywhere. Well, I haven't talked about Dubai. People have asked me why. It's in the middle of the desert, halfway around the world. I did play this video at the beginning, and I'm going to show you guys this video. It's just the video it's on Instagram. I loaded it on Instagram as a reel, so that means it's on the Facebook. But look at this right here. I'm going to make a larger video, I hope, of this. But this I have to show you, ladies and gentlemen, because this is what they're building in Dubai. They said, oh, why don't we just go for something that's awesome? By the way, this is by the train station, metro station, pre-construction. And this is awesome. They actually are having the train from the airport come out to this project. This train station is going to be at this project. So when people land, they don't need a rental car. They don't need Uber. They don't need nothing. They get to their location and their unit at the complex. And 72 kilometers because people can't drive in the desert. This is something they've been trying to do for years. This is what the infrastructure that's needed there. 72 miles or kilometers, 72 kilometers to get to other cities. Instead of driving, they're making the train. How sweet is that? Much needed. I don't know if you guys have checked out that desert or been in the desert before, but just like at Burning Man, when they have the sandstorms, imagine being in a real desert. Sandstorms coming. They happen. You're not being able to drive. That's why generally they haven't been able to make this transportation that far, but they're making it now. And that train is going to stop at the airport, stop at this Aziza and other locations. So a person can just get off the plane, come to their condo. Life is good. All right. Right, ladies and gentlemen, what did you guys think about that? Again, that's Dubai. It's not by the water. What I mean is, it's not by the water. It's not by the ocean. It's not by anything. This is man-made crystal lagoons throughout the complex. That's the water. Second floor, lake view. Fifth floor, lake view. Eighth floor, lake view. 10th floor, lake view. Everybody gets the view of water. How sweet is that? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Opera House. That's what that big golden dome was, where they're going to have shows, big time shows are going to be there. The second Opera House in Dubai, that's going to be there. It's pretty special. And by the way, they're like, I don't even know, 10, 12 hours ahead in time. So it's probably morning time there. November 2nd, probably like 7 in the morning. I don't know exactly, but it's somewhere around there. Maybe 6 or 7. I don't exactly know. It's, it's not 6 hours ahead like EU. It's, I know it's at least 9 or 10 hours ahead. So it's got to be like 6 in the morning about right now. All right. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you could see it, it's kind of small, but let me know. All right. Housing market crash predictions everywhere. Does anybody else have any predictions? Is it going to actually crash? A lot of people have said, and that they've been right so far. There's a limited amount of inventory, a limited amount of buyers. So that's why prices haven't dropped. Okay. Well, how do you manipulate the market? You make sure that foreclosures don't all of a sudden happen. So they've delayed the foreclosure market. And we've had the likes of BlackRock, JP Morgan, being JP Morgan a debt facility for people that were buying homes, but now they can't loan them the money at the low rates. So now they can't proceed with their plan. So they won't be buying even if the prices do go down a little bit. 10% ain't going to cut it because it's still going to be 5%, 6%, 7% notes. So they are not going to buy even if it did drop 10, 15%. So it has to drop significantly before they buy back in. Because remember, they're giving debt facilities for rent to owns. So where are these rent to owns coming from? They're usually buying up the builder's inventory or newer subdivisions. They're not doing that anymore. Prices increased. So then they had to stop doing it. So both ways, they can't get low enough loans, because if you have a 2.5% interest, you don't mind paying a little more because you'll make the profits. But you have a problem when it's 5%, 6%, 7%, or heaven forbid, 10%, that you would have to borrow interest only or not. And so now what happens? And you have a 5 to 10 year window that it's all due. So think about those type of things, ladies and gentlemen. So you think a housing market crash prediction everywhere. The reason why they're all doing this, all the news, everybody's doing it, is because the writing is pretty much on the wall. I just question 10%, 12%. How much are these homes really going to go down? Well, if the Federal Reserve keeps holding, or as they say, pausing, I would love it if they pause for another 4 months. I want to see their resolve. But the reality of it is, I would love it if they actually raise the rate. That's what I would love. Even if it is 0.25, that would be what I would love. Because the only way the middle class will be able to come back is if there's really no inflation. And if we have to go to 2%, that would be it. That's the only way. Companies would have to be out of business, filing bankruptcy. Other companies would have to take over, and then they would have to offer fair pricing. That's all I'm saying. We may not get to that point, and that's what I've been telling you guys for the last 2 years, is why I said you have to have equities or real estate, because the next run up is going to be the mother of all bubbles, and it's going to be in a good way. So all those who are holding, say aye, because you're all going to be millionaires by default. As long as you're holding equities, the right equities, and you're holding the right real estate, you're all going to be fine. No, you're not going to have a problem in the future. It's everybody who's not planning and unfortunately not seeing the SS&N Nation videos, understanding that you are going to be left behind, because you will not be able to make up simple things like this. You bought your house and it goes up from 400,000 to 800,000. That's $400,000 of equity. Even though you have to borrow that equity, you can't make 400,000 in like 2 or 3 years generally. So that's where the problem comes in. There's only certain vehicles that you can earn 40, 50%, possibly 20%, 10% annually. And that's not your job. They don't pay you 10, 15, 20% annual wage increases. So you have to be in or own vehicles that allows you to sit by idly and get that extra couple $100,000, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but it won't take 10, won't take 15, take 2 or 3 years. That's it. All right. This isn't going to be too long tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but I wanted to hear what you guys are saying. Housing market crash predictions are everywhere. Do you guys have any predictions? Are you rocking with any of these, what these guys are saying anywhere? Is it still a bubble? Is it not a bubble? Are we still going to have a situation where, here, let me, I wanted to do something else. Let me go over here. Adam foreclosures. Why don't we go look? Why don't we go look and see? Adam, that's an archive. This is a data. Let's go see if the next shoe has dropped yet. We'll see what happen. Oh, hold on a second. It's the SEMA Auto Show. So I have to make sure that I have some people checking in. So got to make sure they're all good. All right. Looks like no issues. Okay, here we are. This, in fact, if you guys are interested, I mean, it's not like you guys, a lot of people don't pay attention to the numbers, but I'll put it in here. So here's the foreclosure data, and there's nothing that's happening just yet in reality. I don't want to, I don't know what I want. Let's see what I can get here. That's not, I don't want any of this. Let's see here. That's what I'm looking for, gentlemen. Where's it at? Not let me go to where I want to go. Not let me go where I want to go. It's not showing me where I want to go. All right. Foreclosure mounted, which is on. That's not what I want. That's not what I want either. That's not what I want either. Where's the info? All right. That's not what I need. That's not what I need. Let's go here. Let's see if we can get some of this info. I can't believe I don't have the info. I don't need to do that. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go look. No, I can't get there. It's not coming up. All right, maybe I'll backdoor my way in. I was looking for the numbers. Okay, foreclosures 2008. Let's go 2008, 2009 was very, very high. Right now, we're nowhere near 2008, 2009 levels. We're only near like 2018, 2017 levels, which was very, very low. So that is the problem, quite frankly. It's like it's not high enough to matter. So as long as you understand that, which I can't pull the reports, when you understand that, then you'll understand that. Sorry, guys, I couldn't pull the reports. I should have just pulled it up earlier and just kept it on the page. Let's see here. Let's see if I can go a different route. Nope. I don't think that's going to work. It's not working. Let's see. No, not working. Not working at all. Mm-hmm. No. No. Bummer. I wanted to show you guys, and I can't show because I'm not in, which I have a back doors into it, but not today, not tonight. I should have brought it up. But anyhow, we're going to close this out a little bit earlier. Some of you I will be seeing in the next 3 to 5 to 6 days. If E. White's still here, when are you going to be there, E. White? Are you going to be there before the 6th or not? Because I'll be there before the 6th. So me and the wife will be there hanging out starting on the night of the 3rd, by the way. That's why I may not be able to do it, because I just found out our realtor friend Gwen actually plays music. Who knew? So Friday night live stream may not happen for one of the rare times. But as you know, maybe I will still do a live. Just never know. It'll be what? Still 10 p.m. Maybe have a little live from the beach or wherever we're at, right? So why not? And then have some little background music, which should not be copyrighted because it's going to be live. So it should be good. So we'll see what happens. All right. Friday, if you are in Punta Cana area, open house Primavera 4 is November 4th and 5th. That's Saturday and Sunday. So keep that in mind. Monday is a holiday. November 6th in the DR is a holiday. So this is a 3-day weekend. So keep that in mind. I don't know any difference with rental rates or anything like that. They might have went up a little bit, but not anything significant because it is low season, shoulder season, as they call it, mid-season. But I still think they're going to have 500,000 tourists by air this month as well. October, I mean, not November. All right. Okay, E. White says, I'll be there on Sunday. All right, E. White, excellent. Did you, what side of town you're going to be staying in? Did you pick a spot yet? Let us, well, actually, what do I mean, what side of town? You don't have many choices. Either you're going to be staying in an all-inclusive spot, or you're going to be staying probably in any location. I mean, it could be Primaveras near downtown. It could be AC Hotel downtown, but it could be anywhere, or Bavaro. There's not too many real places to stay right now. But in 2 years, it's going to be interesting. Atlantida has announced 2 years, 2025, they're actually coming out, not next year. So there's going to be an onslaught in 2025. It's over. It's all over. Because if Atlantida's there, Vista Cana, Larimar, Cruise on Lands, all of them have their first phases or second phases, whatever the case may be, happen in 2025. That's an explosion of all these awesome projects. Oh man, I can't even wait right now. I just kind of get excited every time I think about it. You love it when a plan comes together. This couldn't have happened any better. The reason why I say this, some of you may not even know who's here tonight. Dominican Republic reduced their Federal Reserve rate 2 months ago. All right. Now, remember, they don't have inflation pressures like we do here. They did have building supply pressure, but as far as material costs, the people that live there generally don't have credit off the charts. They traditionally don't make six figures or even $35,000 a year. That's not even the average in the DR. So inflation is something that generally is not going to be out of hand. They can control it because there's no way, just like right now, that furniture that we're talking about in the DR where sofas could be $1,500 or $2,000. The person that's from there, they don't make but 18 to 20 some thousand annually. They're not spending $2,000, $2,500 on furniture. All right. That's generally not going to happen. So that's why that's set, but nobody's sitting there running to buy it. The only people running to buy it are people that are having these pre-construction deals. All right. So that doesn't come into the equation as far as the inflation for the citizenry. So therefore, it makes it very, very interesting. So they reduced theirs 2 months ago. United States, they don't have that luxury. All right. But here's what's going to happen. Everybody that needs a loan, you're going to be happy because right now in the DR, you can get 8.5, you can get 7.5, which is not even outrageous because that's generally what people are paying in the United States. I'm just like, at this point, but when citizens in the US were paying 3.5, 4.5, yeah, 7.5, 8.5 is high. But right now, that's normal. So what's the question or what's the answer 2 years from now? When a lot of people here right now are going to have delivery of units from mid to late 2025. Interest rates are going to be lower, even the DR. 6.5, 5.5 could be doable. It's going to be interesting, but it could be the perfect storm. Because if that happens, that means all of our properties are going to increase in value substantially. And I mean, substantially is like if you bought something for 100,000 and it goes up 100,000, that's substantial, right? Just like if you bought something for 500,000 and it went up to $1 million, that'd be substantial, right? In a matter of 2 or 3 years, that'd be substantial. So again, that's what I think is going to happen. And I'm happy that you guys who are all here are riding along for the ride. Victor Marrero is going to be retired. He's going to be loving life. Laverne Penix, Mr. and Mrs. Cool, they might be overseas in the Eurozone, enjoying life. But everybody's going to be able to eat off of this, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you made plans. So we're going to wrap this up tonight. I don't have much more to say about this subject matter. I just wanted to break it out. And I broke out the video earlier about Powell being our friend, which was an offshoot of somewhat of what I talked about right now. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. I don't have any more videos to play. But there's going to be some incoming. Yeah, Ahmed is the realtor. Come to think of it. In case people wanted to find out about this, Ahmed's the realtor over in Dubai. But like I said, they're like 9 or 10 hours ahead of us. So it's almost early morning, I think, over there. But I'll give his number. It's WhatsApp plus 971 55 756 5075. Ahmad. And let them know Eric, SSN Nation sent you. All right. So if you're interested in that Dubai property that I showed, then go check it out. 170 is what it 170 studio. 270 for 1 bedroom. All have water views. That's on the, I can't remember, I think it was the 4th floor or 5th floor high. I think that's where the 170 unit is. And then it goes up when you go up another level, it goes up. So it's like 2,000 or 3,000 a level or something like that. I just can't remember exactly. But nonetheless, Dubai's in the house for awesome project at 170 for Entry Point Studios, which is reasonable, kind of. October through April is prime time in Dubai. Just so you know, you only have October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months is prime time. Just so you know, now for the next 7 months or 6 months now, but October through April, prime time. So speaking of that, why don't we go that route? Okay, let's go this route. Hold on a second. We're going to go this route. Airbnb. Let's go Dubai. This is out by the new airport that they're making, the largest airport in the world. All right, it's going to be built in Dubai. Go figure. Interesting. All right, so this is going to be out by the airport. It's not near downtown. It's not near the water. All right, this is it's by the airport in the middle of the desert. Let's just call it what it is. All right, so since it's prime time right now, why don't we go look? Because I haven't done any research on this yet. 2 people. I'm not expecting prices to be like, I expect $80, $50. I mean, I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting just what we see in the DR. Let's see. Here we go. Why don't we just check it out? I put in the 10th through the 17th. I think that's reasonable. Here, I'm going to do it this way. Uh-oh. Might have the screen go off. If it does, I'll be back. Yep. It's going to go off, I believe. We'll see in a second. Yeah, it's not letting me do what I want. I'll do it this way too. Let me take off, stop the cam. All right. Cute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I knew that was going to happen. No shocker there. So it doesn't look outrageous right now. At least it didn't to me. 160 to 250 so far. I was just going to go to the map before the screen acted weird. Look. Okay. Here we go. Looks like, yes, reasonable. Dubai Creek, reasonable. 117 per night, reasonable. 1 bedroom, 1 king bed. So not outrageous yet, nor will we be able to do 170 a night, but we don't know that yet, right? Because there's no other project like it in the city. And when that train comes, there's nothing like it as well. So again, nothing overly priced over in Dubai. But the ratings are interesting. So again, this is very 55 is way out here, lower price, monthly booking, decent enough. Village Circle 49, interesting. That's not very welcoming to me, but there we go. Village Circle, apartment in Dubai. So these are all inexpensive, right? I don't see anything here that's outrageous. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Oh, you mean E. White? Yeah, he said he's flying in Sunday. I'll be there Friday, 2 days from now. All right, so here we go. Yeah, this is not even crazy. This is 89 a night, 88 a night. Even oh, okay, that looks interesting. That's a lobby. Yeah, this isn't overly. Oh, hold on a second. There is one thing I need to do, right? I forgot. Even though I'm talking about these prices, they might have regulations. We're gonna have to go find out what the price really is, because they might have regulations that we don't know about. So let's go look. Check it out. See if they charge 15% or something on top of these prices. Maybe that's why the prices are lower. I think they do, by the way. Translation. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. 4.93, decent rating. 143, a little $30 discount. 971 before tax. Why am I getting before tax price? No tax. 970 is the total. That's it. Pay now or pay in 4 payments or pay monthly with Klarna. Okay. So it's 100 and less than 150 a night. That's for sure. 970 for a week. Partial marina view. How nice. Not bad. Okay. Not bad. Here's what it's looking like. Nice. Oh, and I can't remember if these places came fully furnished or not. Let's get to the partial marina view. Where's the marina view? I don't see a marina. I see pools. No marina view. Okay. Looks like Sakun Towers. All right. Looks just like Miami, except it's not costing an arm and a leg to buy at the moment. These aren't like $1 million, 8 millions to stay in Brickell. 800,000, 500,000, 600,000. Once you get into the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom ranges, that's when you start getting into the 300,000s, 200,000. All right. Well, that was just a short one, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing major. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you're thinking about it at all. 170, not a bad deal. And it's only a studio unit, but hey, we can buy a 2 bedroom in the DR or a villa in the DR for the same money. Just saying. So you have options. Tulum, Mexico, for instance, or Philippines, or hey, a few options if you want to do it, right? So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up tonight. It was a short version because we were talking about housing market crash predictions are everywhere. And what else is predicted? Well, people have predicted the stock market to take a tumble. Well, stock market is going to stay, I think, going to move sideways a little bit, except for a few of the stocks to keep it afloat in the positive or near positive. But I think there's going to be a little more pain coming ultimately, especially over the next month. Depends on what happens on the Black Fridays, the Black Mondays, or whatever other special promos they have for sales. That is going to factor into some of the stock market prices as well. So that's going to be interesting. And we're going to have a fun ride over the next 2-3 months because the Federal Reserve is acting straight up like they don't want to do anything. They don't want to increase. They don't want to decrease because no matter which way they go, it looks like it's going to be a problem. So they don't want to pull the trigger either way. They'd rather just stay pat, which actually helps all of us, investors, business owners, business buyers. It's going to help you the most. Get those assets, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If anybody has anything else to say, please do so now. But make sure you go over to Beachfront Java, put in your promo code SSN Lifestyle, all one word. That means you get 10% off for the rest of your life after your first order and free shipping in the continental US. It's coffee, premium blend. It's now teas and seasonal blends is in effect. So go show some love. All right. We're going to wrap it. So again, I'll just say it. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, and it's about to get a lot harder because you're not going to be able to keep up if you don't have the revenue. Things are going to go up. Asset prices are going to increase, but you need to get in now before they increase to levels where you say, hey, I could have bought VOO for $365, but now it's $565. It could be 2 years later or whatever. But all I'm trying to illustrate is 10 to 15 to 20% that you could have gotten now means you can't later. It's not like it's going to go up another 20, 30, 40% later. So you can get in now. I went over it on Monday where I showed the Dow, the S&P 500, and I also showed the NASDAQ, the 52-week highs over the last year and low. It was almost right near middle to a little less than the middle, 50 to 40% levels. That's a good sign. But what's a better sign is, what if it dropped even more right now? Those stock indexes or the stock market in some of these places, ETFs buy stocks in the stock indexes. So if you can imagine, these things are not at the 52-week high, they're 50% below the level. So again, I'll use it plain and simple. What happens if you bought at $1,000 worth of stock? The stock goes down to $500. That is a 50% drop. But let's just say now you are in today's money where you're like, okay, it's 50% of the value. I'm going to buy now. But here's the funny part about economics. 50% increase for you is $75 because that's $25 price increase. That's 50% to you. It's still negative 25% for the person who bought at 1,000. So now it's up at 750 for all the stocks you bought. You are plus 25 loving life. The other person's negative 25 going, damn, man, come on. Hopefully this will come back up. And then when it goes up to back to 1,000, you doubled your money. The person that bought at 1,000 broke even. This is why Victor Morrell is a proponent of it, and everybody else in the house right here is a proponent of dollar cost averaging. Because if you bring your price down when it was down at 50 and you decide to buy some at 50 and your dollar cost average came down to 65 or 70, now when it went to 75, you're like, oh, I'm 5% good. If it went up to 1,000 again, now you're like, oh my God, I'm 40% good, 35% good. You'll be happy with that. This is how you skin the cats, ladies and gentlemen. And you should be thinking about it right now. All right. Let's go. George's Charles. He's like, I don't like the prices for 270K. Hey, man, you want 39,000 square meters of basically they just made a crystal lagoon. The whole project is a lake. Not the whole project, but it's like it's on steroids. The units are over water, the way they built it. So everybody has damn near water view. You have it's a crystal lagoon, which they have at the beach in Dominican Republic, except it's bigger than that. But now you have people out there. You just can't use power boats, but now you have the paddle boarding, anything like that, swimming, paddle boats, whatever the case may be, man-powered movement in the water. It's one big ass lake, pool, whatever you want to call it. You live there. That's your view as well. So that's pretty cool. And then you have everything that Larimar, Cruise on Land, all that stuff. They got everything except they don't have amusement park. Let's just put it that way. All right. That wouldn't work good. I can't even imagine them putting an amusement park there with all the sand that moves. That would be a bad situation for cleanup every night. But anyhow, I'm just saying. That's why 270 for a 1-bedroom at that location. There's other condos in Dubai that's less, but they're not going to have these amenities. That's the one thing. You guys know it's amenities, amenities, amenities. So that's the kicker. So you have to go with the studio unit 170. We'll see. Eric, connect me with E. White. I'll be coming in Sunday and renting a car if he needs a ride. Yeah, E. White, if you need some rides. In fact, E. White, send me an email, please, at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. Support@stopstrugglingnow.com. Because the email that I sent you a message to, I never received a response. So I don't know how often you check it. That was your, when you made payment, that was your payment email. So I don't know how often you check that email or not. So send me an email and then let us know what time you're coming in. If you don't have the transportation, let us know what side of town you're living on or whatever. Like I said, I'll be in Bavaro. Charles is in Bavaro. I don't know where Mo's staying at, and I don't know where anybody else is staying at. But I'm staying in Bavaro, and George's in Bavaro. And it doesn't really matter where you're staying, but at least George's Charles is saying he'll pick you up from the airport, which is awesome. That's pretty cool. And if he can't make it, if he's busy, we'll have other arrangements for you. So you'll be taken care of either way. All right. We're going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. And if anybody wants to do any last minute trip to the Dominican Republic, November 6th to the 8th, we're still making it happen. SSN Lifestyle, even though November 6th is a holiday, it won't stop us, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the guys like Larimar closed. Their offices closed. That doesn't matter. Cruise on Land closed. Doesn't matter. We still have other things that we're handling. We got Primavera 4. We got Vista Cana. We got Macau. We got a bunch of stuff that we're going to be doing on Monday. So we're going to have to flip it around. That's why I didn't have the itinerary for everybody, because they started saying we're not going to be open on this day. The people aren't going to be available that day. So then things were like, oh, okay, we should have mentioned this before. But nonetheless, so we're going to get around and have a little fun. And you guys are going to meet some people, and the realtors are there. They're going to be all around. They're kind of excited. You see people on the internet. You see people in the chat room. And so it's rare you get to see people in person. So when you have everybody coming in person, and a lot of us have actually purchased at some of these projects, which is actually what makes it kind of cool. So they know who you are. Out of all of us coming, there's probably somewhere between 10 to 15 units that have been purchased from the projects. So, and there's only going to be about 4 or 5 of us. So that's what's kind of funny. When you break it down, it's real funny. All right. So E. White, hopefully you got the message, man. Send me an email at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. George's Charles is offering he can pick you up at the airport on Sunday, I think, if that's what day he's coming. Yeah, he said I'll be there Sunday. George, when are you coming? I thought you were coming Sunday too. But anyhow, let us know. And if he can't get you, then then I'll see about getting somebody to come get you if necessary. And again, staying in Bavaro on the right by Blue Marina, right by the shake stand, right by the mini mart, right by the pharmacy. Right? I mean, you got to hang in that location because it's there right now, right? That's where everything is. All the restaurants are there around the corner, a block or two down, and the beach, 3 or 4 or 5 minute walk. Perfect location. Now, just what I just said, perfect location. An example is why you want amenities, because if you're not staying there, where else is there to stay other than all inclusive? That's part of the situation, right? So 2.5 years from now, I'm probably going to be like, okay, not Bavaro. I'll be probably at Larimar, Cruise on Land, Vista Cana. Those will be the options because then I'm like, I'll do man-made beach, cool. Restaurant, bars, nightclubs, cool. Sports courts, game rooms, cool. I mean, don't have to go far. So that's what we're going to be in store for. I can't wait for 2 years. All right, George's Charles says I'm coming Sunday. All right. Well, but you're going to have a rental car, so we don't need to come get you. But what time? What time are you going to be in, man? But we're on WhatsApp anyhow, so you'll be able to get in touch with each other. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Hopefully, E. White got the message. Hopefully, he sent me an email. Let me see. Hopefully, he was on when we were talking about it. Because, like I said, I can't send him a message. So, hopefully, he heard us and didn't leave before. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about for Friday night's going to be interesting. I'm going to be hanging with Gwen. All right. Just letting you know, it just happened today because I was talking with Gwen and I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? Because Gwen's actually like, he wants to make a bar, nightclub, restaurant. He's helping somebody do that. He's doing short-term rentals. He's a realtor. And so I was like, hey, man, you're always busy. What else you doing? I know you're doing something else. He's like, yeah, when you come, I'm playing Friday night. I'm like, what? Playing what? Instruments? He's like, yeah. It's like, oh, man, that's cool. So that's where Friday night, man, Gwen will be live. He'll be live with me, with us. So let's do it. Don't miss it. You guys know I don't like missing live streams. So I always like, when we're on, I try to get some of those on, what do you call that? When you're at another location, on location, even if it's on location for 15, 20 minutes, that's still cool, right? We're still going to have a little fun, still talk about a few things. So, and probably have some video that I can add and load in as well, because be it Primavera 4 open house. So you'll see some video from that on Monday, but on Friday, you probably won't see much video because just be getting in a little evening. And they said it gets dark at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So I'll have to see this for myself. That's a bit early. All right. Well, in a few days, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be awesome. Everybody, if you haven't signed up, you can still sign up and you can still get some holiday rates, special rates by air from major cities. And I have to admit, some of those unknown Southwest, Frontier, Spirits, Delta, they're cheap. So last minute, they have specials, or they had specials. I don't know if they still have the Halloween or Black Friday or something. Somebody's got specials. So if you want to come, and because it's low season or shoulder season, as they call it, mid, rates are pretty reasonable. They're not crazy unless you're staying at all inclusive. Those would be a little more, but they're still not even crazy. All right. So let's do it. We're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you stay safe out here because you never know what's going to happen and who's having a bad day. All right. Don't let that be you. No need to engage. Just make sure You keep yourself safe, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.